Another rough day for Democrats on Capitol Hill. Every single reporter had the same question for all of them. Should Joe Biden drop out of the race? And surprise, surprise, the Democrats, they're not so willing to answer. Here's a look at some of the day's best ducks and dodges. Take a look.
I'm going to talk to him and ask him to step down. I mean, do these reports have to say?
Our conversations throughout this week have been candid, comprehensive, and clear-eyed, and that will continue for as long as we are in town.
Do you think it's okay to have a president, though, where there's this open question about whether or not he's in cognitive decline?
Do you think it was okay to have President Trump in cognitive decline for his entire 4 years?
Of the race?
I don't have anything to say about it. Yeah. And we have a meeting to go to, I'm sorry.
Do you think Joe Biden has dementia, Senator Brown?
Do you believe that he'll lose to Donald Trump in November, sir?
Just nothing really to say about it, really.
Nothing that has eased your concerns yet?
I have nothing more to say about this.
Do you believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not speaking English to you. I'm not going to be making any statements about any of that right now in the hallway.
Am I speaking English to you? I'm not going to be making statements about any of that in the hallway. Anyway, here with reaction, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Not surprising that they really don't want to answer that question, Senator. What's your reaction?
Not at all, Sean. Listen, the Democrats are in absolute full panic mode, not because the President of the United States is unable to perform his duties as the commander-in-chief and the leader of the free world. They're in panic mode, Sean, because their poll numbers are dropping like a lead balloon. It is remarkable to watch these Democrats not be able to answer basic questions from reporters. Listen, the national media has been engaged in the greatest political cover-up in generations by hiding the true position, mental fitness of Joe Biden. But at the same time, Sean, they have engaged in character assassination of Donald J. Trump. 2 impeachments, Russia collusion, then a show trial. This is the greatest tragedy before the American people, and that's why so many Americans are coming to Donald J. Trump's defense, because they smell a rat, and it is clear as a bell. But, it's been kind of fun watching the Democrats stumble, fumble, and unable to answer the one basic question: can he run again? When the real question is, can he finish?
Well, let me ask you this. Does it really matter? Because I see a party that almost universally has been radicalized, and it's a new Green Deal, radical socialist Marxist party. I don't see policies on the border changing, law and order changing, energy changing. I don't see our education policies changing. They're still changing. They're still going to be beholden to the NEA. I don't see President Xi, the mullahs in Iran. I don't see Vladimir Putin respecting Kamala Harris or any other name that's being mentioned. Will it make a difference if they swap them out? I don't think so.
You make a fantastic point, Sean. Bottom line is, in 2021, the first piece of legislation that Joe Biden signed was a $1.9 trillion package, not for COVID, not for vaccines, not for health, but for their wish list, $1.7 trillion that caught the entire economy on fire, leading to 9% inflation, 54% more expensive today is the gas we put in our tanks. What does all that spell? It means that the incompetence of Joe Biden preceded any question about his mental acuity. We should remember that. It is his incompetence, and frankly, every single Democrat walks in lockstep with the philosophy that has made our economy implode, that has allowed 10 million illegal immigrants to come across our border, allowing the spread of cancer called crime in the poorest inner cities in this nation. That won't change if it's Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, or any other Democrat name that's been circulating right now. What we need is 4 more years of common sense, 4 more years of a closed border, 4 more years of inflation under 2%. All that takes one person, Donald Trump.
All right. So it's not your first rodeo. Have you ever seen anything like this in the years you've been in Washington, and how do you think it plays out?
I have never seen anything like this whatsoever. We can go back to the debate night just a few weeks ago. We saw three things manifest. Number one, a very dominant Donald Trump. Number two, an embarrassing Joe Biden. And number three, the greatest threat to the American Republic in decades. Our adversaries saw that capitulation, that dereliction of duty, the deer in headlights. That sent a signal all across the country that what they knew was true. But around the world, they were chomping at the bits. We need strong, powerful American leadership. When we have that, Ukraine would not have a war today. In the Middle East, there would not be a conflict. China, their aggressions would be passive against Taiwan. We had that 4 years with number 45. We'll have it again with number 47, being Donald J. Trump.
Senator Tim Scott, great to have you as always. Appreciate you being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.